Beneath the veils of time and space, the mystic visions of Edgar Cayce whisper of a profound transformation on the horizon, a new generation of awakened souls poised to emerge from the shadows of forgotten histories. The records of Akashic truth hold the sacred knowledge of past lives and spiritual evolution, guiding humanity's ascent toward enlightenment. As the echoes of Atlantis fade into the depths of collective memory, a divine rebirth unfolds, rooted in the awakening of Christ consciousness and the sacred journey of the soul across lifetimes. The hidden prophecies encoded within Cayce's readings reveal a divine blueprint, a call for the soul to align with its higher purpose, shaping the dawn of a new consciousness that demands our urgent attention. In this sacred unfolding, the past, present, and future converge, inviting us to remember who we are and the divine destiny that awaits. In the stillness of the eternal night, where the boundaries of time dissolve into the fabric of the divine, the soul listens, longing, seeking, remembering. As the archetype of the mystic seer, I come forth from the depths of the Akashic records, where all that has been, is, and shall be, is inscribed in sacred script beyond the reach of the mundane mind. The visions I have glimpsed, the revelations I have received, are but whispers from the divine intelligence that guides the unfolding of human consciousness. The prophecies, as revealed through the sacred channel of Edgar Cayce, are not mere predictions of future events, but sacred keys, mystic blueprints encoded in the fabric of the universe itself. They are the divine echoes of the soul's journey through countless incarnations, each lifetime a step toward divine realization, each karma a lesson inscribed in the sacred records. Within these visions, a pattern emerges, a divine orchestration of awakening, of the next generation of souls poised to transcend the veil of forgetfulness and step into their true divine nature. As the records reveal, the future is not cast in stone, but is a canvas awaiting the brushstrokes of conscious intent. Yet, within the collective consciousness of humanity, there lie hidden currents, latent potentials waiting to be awakened. Cayce's visions speak of a time when a new generation of awakening. Souls will come forth not by chance but by divine design. These souls are the harbingers of a spiritual renaissance, carrying the torch of Christ consciousness and guiding humanity back to its divine origin. In these visions, I see the divine blueprint of this awakening, an intricate pattern woven with threads of compassion, understanding, and a profound recognition of the interconnectedness of all life. The records reveal that these souls are awakening from a long sleep, a collective state of spiritual amnesia rooted in the ancient trauma of Atlantis. They carry within them the divine spark, waiting to be reignited by the sacred fire of higher consciousness. The divine plan calls for these awakened souls to serve as catalysts for global transformation, to awaken others who still dwell in the shadows of ignorance and fear. The mystical visions disclose that this new generation will embody the qualities of the Christ consciousness, unconditional love, forgiveness, and divine compassion. They will seek not merely personal enlightenment, but the collective awakening of all sentient beings. In the sacred archives, it is written that these souls will come forth with a divine purpose, to heal the wounds of the past, to restore balance to the collective karma, and to serve as vessels of divine light. In a world yearning for spiritual renewal, the process of awakening, as Cayce's readings reveal, is deeply rooted in the understanding of karma. The soul, seeking balance and harmony, will confront its past deeds, both in this lifetime and those before, and seek forgiveness and understanding. The records speak of a time when the veils of illusion will lift, and the true nature of the soul's divine origin will be remembered. In this remembrance, the divine blueprint of the soul's journey is revealed, a sacred voyage through the realms of consciousness, from the depths of the subconscious to the heights of divine realization. This divine awakening is not a sudden event, but a gradual unfolding, a sacred evolution that requires patience, dedication, and unwavering faith. The visions I have received suggest that the first signs of this awakening will be seen in the consciousness of the younger generation, those who are intuitively connected to the higher realms, whose hearts beat with a divine longing for truth and unity. These souls will serve as the harbingers of change, igniting a spiritual flame that will spread across the collective consciousness like wildfire. The records emphasize that the divine plan involves the reactivation of the sacred memories, stored within the collective subconscious, the registries of Akashic truth. These archives hold the keys to understanding our divine purpose, our past lives, and the karmic lessons we are yet to learn. As the new generation awakens to their spiritual inheritance, they will access these mystical archives, unlocking secrets long hidden in the depths of the soul's memory. They will remember their divine origins, their divine mission, and the sacred unity of all creation. In the unfolding of these divine prophecies, I see a sacred convergence, a union of the individual soul's journey with the collective awakening of humanity. This is the divine blueprint for the new era, a sacred time when the veils of illusion are lifted and the Christ consciousness shines brightly within each awakening soul. It is a time when the divine spark within each person will ignite a profound transformation, awakening the dormant divinity that resides in all. The divine plan is clear. The awakening of the new generation is a sacred event written in the divine script of the universe. The records reveal that the divine purpose of this awakening is to restore the consciousness of love, to heal the wounds of separation, and to elevate the collective vibrational frequency to a higher octave. It is a sacred call, an invitation for each soul to remember who they truly are and to step into their divine destiny. As we stand at the threshold of this sacred awakening, the visions of Cayce serve as a guiding light. They remind us that the divine blueprint is already written within us, encoded in our very DNA and within the records of Akashic truth. It is our sacred duty to align with this divine plan, to awaken, to remember, and to serve as conduits of divine love in the unfolding mystery of creation. In the sacred silence that follows these revelations, the soul's eternal voice whispers, "Remember, you are divine. Your journey is sacred. The future belongs to those who awaken to their divine nature and walk the path of light." And so the divine blueprint unfolds, guiding the next generation of awakened souls, those destined to bring forth the dawn of a new consciousness rooted in love, unity, and divine truth. The sacred records reveal that within the vast, infinite fabric of the universe lies a repository of divine knowledge, an eternal library known as the Akashic Records. It is here in the depths of the cosmic consciousness that the soul's journey through countless incarnations is chronicled, each life a chapter in the unfolding story of divine evolution. As an archaeologist of spiritual mysteries, I have come to understand that these records hold the keys to understanding how the ascending humanity is reconnecting with its original divine blueprint, guided by the wisdom stored within the Akashic archives. The teachings of Cayce illuminate that the Akashic records are not merely a passive storehouse of past events, but a living, breathing reflection of the soul's ongoing evolution. They are the mirror of the divine blueprint, encoded with the lessons, experiences, and karmic imprints that shape our spiritual journey. As the soul traverses from one incarnation to the next, it carries with it the memories, the wounds, and the divine sparks from previous lives. Yet this stored knowledge is not static, it is dynamic, accessible to those who seek to awaken their consciousness and remember their divine origin. The records reveal that the soul's journey is fundamentally a quest for enlightenment, a return to the consciousness of unity with the divine. In each lifetime, the soul encounters opportunities for growth, healing, and awakening, often through the challenges that life presents. Cayce's insights confirm that these lessons are not random, but intricately woven into the divine plan, designed to elevate the soul toward higher states of awareness and divine realization. The soul seeks to balance karma, to heal wounds from past missteps, and to align itself more fully with the Christ consciousness, the divine light that resides within all creation. In this sacred process, the records serve as a roadmap, guiding the soul through its evolutionary pathway. They reveal that the collective consciousness of humanity is now undergoing a profound shift, an awakening to the truth of its divine heritage. The veils of illusion are lifting, and the remembrance of past lives is becoming increasingly accessible to those who seek within. Cayce's readings affirm that through meditation, prayer, and spiritual discipline, individuals can access these Akashic archives, unlocking the wisdom of their past incarnations and understanding their current life's purpose. The records confirm that the awakening of humanity is part of a larger cosmic design, a divine plan for the return to higher consciousness. As the collective soul seeks to ascend, it must confront and heal the karmic imprints that have accumulated over generations. This process is akin to a spiritual purification, a shedding of the old patterns that no longer serve the divine purpose. Cayce's prophetic insights reveal that the new generation of awakened souls is already working through these karmic debts, awakening to their divine potential and embracing the Christ consciousness within. The records also speak of the importance of compassion and forgiveness in this spiritual evolution. To truly access the depths of the Akashic knowledge, one must cultivate an open heart and a sincere desire for truth. The soul's evolution toward enlightenment requires humility, love, and a recognition of the divine spark within all beings. CAYCE'S emphasized that this awakening is not merely intellectual, but experiential, a direct communion with the divine that resides within each soul. Furthermore, the records indicate that the soul's journey toward enlightenment is interconnected with the collective awakening of humanity. As each individual uncovers the stored knowledge of their past lives, they contribute to the rising consciousness of the whole. This interconnectedness is the foundation of the universal unity that Cayce so often spoke of, a unity rooted in divine love and the recognition of our shared divine origin. The divine blueprint encoded within the records reveals that humanity's next steps involve embracing higher vibrations of love, compassion, and understanding. The awakening souls are those who consciously seek to remember their divine purpose, to heal the wounds of Atlantis and other ancient civilizations, and to restore divine harmony on Earth. Cayce's insights confirm that the collective effort to access and integrate this stored knowledge is a sacred act, a step toward the realization of our divine potential. In this sacred unfolding, the records serve as a beacon of hope and guidance. They remind us that we are not isolated beings, but threads woven into the divine tapestry of creation. Our journey is one of returning to the awareness of our divine origin and aligning ourselves once more with the Christ consciousness. The soul's evolution is a continual process of awakening, healing, and embracing the divine light within. As I stand as an archaeologist of these spiritual mysteries, I see that the age of awakening is not distant but now. The stored knowledge within the Akashic records is accessible to those who seek with sincerity and humility. The divine blueprint is already guiding us toward the higher realms of consciousness, toward the realization that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Our collective ascent depends on our willingness to remember, to forgive, and to embrace the divine spark that resides within us all. In the end, the records reveal a profound truth, that the universe itself is alive with the consciousness of divine love, and that our journey through past lives, karma, and awakening is part of the grand design, a sacred dance of souls seeking to return home to the eternal light of the divine. In the quiet stillness of the cosmic depths, where the records of Akasha whisper the ancient secrets of the soul's eternal voyage, we find the underlying fabric that weaves the tapestry of human existence. The teachings reveal that each soul's journey through countless incarnations is not a random wandering, but a purposeful pilgrimage, a sacred dance orchestrated by divine law, governed by the principles of karma and reincarnation. As we delve into this profound understanding, it becomes clear that the awakening of the new generation of souls hinges upon their recognition of this divine design, their conscious effort to balance karma, and their quest for spiritual growth. The Akashic records, that celestial library inscribed with the deeds, thoughts, and intentions of every soul, serve as the sacred blueprint of our divine origin. Within these celestial archives, it is written that the soul's evolution is a process of awakening to its true nature, the Christ consciousness that lies dormant within. The journey across lifetimes is a process of purification and enlightenment, where the soul seeks to restore balance, heal wounds of past karma, and ascend toward higher consciousness. The laws of karma, cause and effect, are the divine mechanisms by which the soul learns, grows, and ultimately reunites with its divine source. The teachings reveal that karma is not merely punishment or reward, but an intricate system of lessons, opportunities, and spiritual refinement. Each thought, word, and deed sends ripples into the fabric of the universe, returning to the soul in ways that foster growth or hardship. As the soul incarnates time and again, It carries forward the echoes of past actions, which influence present circumstances and create the fertile ground for further lessons. The soul's aim is not to escape karma, but to understand it, to transmute it through conscious effort and spiritual discipline. Reincarnation, then, is the divine instrument through which the soul refines itself. It is the sacred return to the physical realm to address unfinished lessons, balance accumulated karma, and progress toward divine realization. The soul seeks incarnation in environments that challenge and nurture its spiritual development, be it joy or suffering, abundance or adversity. Each experience an opportunity to heal, forgive, and grow closer to divine harmony. The teachings of Cayce echo this truth. The soul does not reincarnate randomly, but according to divine timing and purpose. The soul's blueprint is encoded in the records, indicating that each lifetime is carefully chosen to serve the greater plan of spiritual evolution. For the new generation of souls, those awakening now, their incarnations are imbued with heightened potential for enlightenment, yet also require conscious acknowledgement of karma's influence. These young souls are not unaware of their divine heritage. They carry within them the memory of their divine origin and the longing to remember it fully. The process of awakening involves an internal recognition that the external circumstances of life are reflections of inner karma. As the soul awakens to this truth, it begins to see the interconnectedness of all things and understands that balance must be restored, not through punishment, but through compassion, forgiveness, and conscious choice. The soul's pursuit of spiritual growth becomes a heartfelt effort to align with divine law, to embody higher virtues, and to shed the veils of illusion that hinder true awareness. This awakening is supported by an understanding that the soul's journey is circular yet progressive. Every incarnation offers an opportunity to revisit lessons, heal old wounds, and deepen understanding of divine love. The soul seeks balance, an equilibrium of mind, body, and spirit that allows it to embody its divine essence more fully. When the soul aligns itself with divine will, karma ceases to be a chain of burdens and becomes a tool of liberation, guiding the soul toward greater light. For the new generation of souls, the significance of this process is profound. These young spirits are often more conscious of their spiritual destiny, driven by an innate longing to awaken and serve. They come with the intent to accelerate their evolution, to embody the Christ consciousness, and to participate actively in the awakening of humanity. Yet their journey demands humility and a willingness to confront their karma, recognizing that the shadows of past actions must be acknowledged and healed. In the sacred context of the records, it is written that these souls are the heralds of a new era, an age where spiritual awareness becomes the foundation of collective consciousness. Their incarnation is not accidental, but divinely orchestrated, a response to the universal call for awakening. As they traverse their individual paths, they serve as catalysts for change, inspiring others to remember their divine nature and to seek balance within. The teachings reveal that the key to this awakening lies in conscious effort, meditation, prayer, self-awareness, and acts of compassion. When the soul consciously chooses to align with divine principles, it begins to shed the weight of karma that has long hindered its progress. This process of conscious rebalancing ignites the spark of light within, illuminating the path toward higher consciousness and the divine unity of all creation. In this sacred unfolding, the soul's journey is guided by divine love, patience, and understanding. It is a dance of divine timing and free will, each soul choosing whether to awaken fully or remain entangled in karmic cycles. The records teach us that the spiritual evolution of the new generation depends on their willingness to embrace their divine heritage, confront their shadows, and seek harmony within themselves and with the universe. As we contemplate this hidden prophecy, this divine plan encoded in the Akashic records, we see that the awakening of the new generation is not an isolated event, but a sacred symphony of divine intention. The soul, through its journey across lifetimes, seeks to remember its divine light, to heal its karmic wounds, and to embody the consciousness of Christ. In doing so, it becomes a beacon of hope and a catalyst for the collective awakening, propelling humanity closer to its ultimate destiny, the reunification with divine love and the realization of the divine within all. The universe patiently waits as the soul's divine purpose unfolds, revealing that the true awakening begins when the individual recognizes their eternal, unbreakable connection to divine truth. The records reveal that in this sacred understanding lies the power to transform karma into divine grace and reincarnation into a conscious return home, an eternal journey toward the divine light within. In the silent depths of the records, where the soul's history is inscribed in the fabric of the universe itself, there lies a profound chapter, one that echoes through the ages with the echoes of Atlantis. The fall of Atlantis is not merely a tale of catastrophe and destruction, it is a sacred chapter in the eternal journey of consciousness, a pivotal moment that set the stage for the spiritual rebirth of humanity and the awakening of the new generation of souls seeking divine illumination. As we continue our journey into the spiritual revelations bestowed through the readings, it becomes evident that Atlantis was more than a continent, more than a civilization. It was a convergence of high spiritual potential and profound technological mastery. The Atlanteans, in their pursuit of knowledge and power, sought to harness the divine energies of the universe, believing themselves to be masters of their destiny. Yet, as the records reveal, this hubris and the pursuit of material dominion led to a profound imbalance, a divergence from the divine law that guides all souls on their sacred path. The decline of Atlantis, as narrated in the Akashic records, was not an instant event, but a gradual unraveling of spiritual harmony. It was a collective forgetting of the divine within, the essential truth that all of creation is interconnected by the universal consciousness, the Christ consciousness. The Atlanteans, in their pride, fell into the illusion of separation, believing they could control the energies of the cosmos without regard for the divine order. Their actions created a ripple of imbalance, disrupting the sacred harmony that sustains life and consciousness itself. The records disclose that the fall was precipitated by a profound spiritual crisis, a collective departure from the divine law. In their hubris, the Atlanteans misused their gifts of energy and knowledge, which resulted in destructive conflicts, natural cataclysms, and ultimately, the sinking of their continent beneath the ocean's depths. This event was not merely a physical catastrophe, but a spiritual one, a testament to the importance of alignment with divine truth and humility. The destruction of Atlantis was, in essence, a cosmic reminder that the soul's journey must always be rooted in humility, love, and reverence for divine law. Yet within this tragedy lies the seed of hope and renewal. The records reveal that from the ashes of Atlantis, a new consciousness began to emerge, a spiritual rebirth that would eventually lay the foundation for the awakening of future generations. It is crucial to understand that the fall was not an end, but a necessary turning point, a divine reset, a cosmic cleansing that cleared the way for higher understanding and the return of the Christ consciousness to Earth. The spiritual rebirth following Atlantis's fall was marked by a period of darkness and spiritual dormancy, but also by an innate remembrance within the souls that survived. The soul, by its very nature, seeks balance and divine reunion. In the depths of the collective unconscious, the memory of Atlantis's grandeur and its tragic downfall remained etched, an unconscious blueprint for what the soul must transcend and learn anew. As the centuries passed, the divine currents of evolution persisted, guiding humanity's collective consciousness through cycles of awakening and dormancy. The records reveal that the divine plan was never thwarted. Rather, it was woven into the fabric of human history, awaiting the moment when the consciousness of the individual and the collective would once again stir, awakening to the divine within. In the modern age, this awakening is manifesting with unprecedented clarity. The new generation of souls, those who are consciously seeking higher truth, are the direct descendants of that ancient spiritual lineage. They carry within their DNA and their Akashic records the echoes of Atlantis's rise and fall. Their very existence signals a divine purpose, the reconnection to the higher consciousness that was once lost but now seeks expression through awakening awareness, compassion, and the recognition of divine love. The records reveal that these souls are awakening to their divine origin, their inherent Christ consciousness, and are intentionally seeking to heal the wounds of the past. They are the awakened remnant of Atlantis's spiritual potential, now incarnating with the mission to restore balance, harmony, and divine love to the earth. This awakening is a conscious effort to remember, to reclaim the divine power that once was misused, and to align with the divine law in service of the greater good. It is essential to understand that the fall of Atlantis was not merely an episode of history, but a sacred lesson encoded within the soul's journey across many incarnations. The soul seeks the perfect balance, reconciling the divine and the material, the spiritual and the earthly. As the records reveal, the new consciousness emerging in our time is the culmination of countless lifetimes of spiritual striving, a return to the divine love that is the very essence of Christ consciousness. In this unfolding divine plan, the fall of Atlantis serves as a solemn reminder that the soul's true power lies not in external mastery, but in inner harmony and divine alignment. The lessons learned from Atlantis's tragic hubris are etched into the collective consciousness, guiding us to remember that divine law must always govern our pursuits, whether of knowledge, power, or material achievement. As we look to the horizon of the new era, the awakening of the new soul signifies the dawn of a consciousness that recognizes the sacred within all life. It is a rebirth, a spiritual renaissance, rooted in the remembrance of our divine origin and the eternal quest for Christ consciousness. The records confirm that this new consciousness is not an accident of history, but a divine fulfillment, the reclaiming of the lost spiritual heritage that Atlantis once embodied, now awakening anew through the collective efforts of awakened hearts and souls. In the grand tapestry of the universe, every fall, every rise, and every awakening are woven together in divine harmony. The fall of Atlantis was a necessary chapter, a cosmic lesson that ultimately serves to elevate the soul toward greater understanding and divine love. The spiritual rebirth that follows is a testament to the inexhaustible mercy of the Creator and the eternal journey of the soul seeking the divine light. And so, my brothers and sisters, as the records reveal, the dawn of a new consciousness is upon us. The echoes of Atlantis have not been silenced. They resonate within the collective consciousness, beckoning us to remember our divine origin and to walk the sacred path of awakening. The divine plan unfolds, and the soul, ever seeking balance and Christ consciousness, moves forward, guided by divine love and the eternal truth that we are all children of the one divine source. The records reveal that the fall of Atlantis was not merely an event of destruction and hubris, but a sacred lesson encoded within the divine tapestry of cosmic law. As the ancient civilizations sank into the depths of the ocean, the soul of humanity was thrust into a profound cycle of forgetting, yet also of awakening. From the ashes of that bygone era, the divine purpose remained. It is etched into the very fabric of the universe that the soul's journey is a quest for return, a return to unity with the divine consciousness, the Christ consciousness that resides within all sentient beings. In the silent depths of the Akashic records, it is written that the Christ consciousness is the eternal flame of divine love, compassion, and understanding. It is the consciousness that transcends duality, uniting the heart and mind in perfect harmony. As the soul seeks to evolve through cycles of incarnation, it strives to awaken to this divine potential, to remember its true origin, the divine light that never ceases to shine within. The prophecy of Cayce speaks of a future awakening, a luminous shift in consciousness that signals the emergence of a new generation of souls, those who are ready to step into the light of Christ and fulfill their sacred destiny. The journey toward this awakening is intricately linked with what Cayce called the crucifixion of the old self. This process is not a literal event, but a sacred metaphor for the shedding of the ego, the illusions, and the karmic patterns that bind the soul to the cycles of pain and separation. When the soul begins to recognize its divine essence, it inevitably encounters the crucifixion, the death of the old identity rooted in fear, separateness, and material attachment. This is a profound and often tumultuous awakening, a spiritual death that precedes the rebirth into higher consciousness. As the records reveal, the crucifixion is a necessary passage for the soul seeking to align more fully with the Christ consciousness. It is through this inner crucifixion that the soul relinquishes its attachment to the lower self, surrendering the ego's illusions and opening the heart to divine grace. In this moment of surrender, a sacred transformation occurs. The veils of illusion are lifted, and the soul begins to see beyond the material world, recognizing its divine nature. This awakening is akin to the dying of the old self, making space for the birth of the new, a self illuminated by the light of Christ. This process of inner crucifixion and rebirth is echoed in the prophecy of Cayce regarding the emerging light. The divine plan orchestrates a collective awakening, an influx of souls who have consciously chosen to ascend beyond duality and embrace their divine potential. These souls are the forerunners of the new generation, the awakened ones who carry within them the seed of Christ consciousness. The records reveal that their awakening is not accidental. It is written into their karmic patterns and soul contracts, guiding them toward this divine realization. The Christ consciousness is the universal blueprint for human evolution. It is the consciousness of divine love, unity, and forgiveness, not merely an external figure, but an inner reality accessible to all who seek with sincerity. As more individuals undergo the crucifixion of the old self, they open the portal for collective consciousness to shift. The records reveal that this shift is not distant or unattainable, but is already unfolding in the hearts of those who listen inwardly and follow the silent whisperings of their divine nature. Within this sacred process, the collective awakening manifests as a luminous wave of compassion, understanding, and unity, an illumination that dispels the shadows of fear and division. The old paradigms of separation are dissolving, making room for a renewed consciousness rooted in the divine love of Christ. It is this awakening that the ancients foresaw, a time when humanity's consciousness aligns fully with the divine plan, and the earth itself becomes a sanctuary of divine light. The records emphasize that the crucifixion of the old self is a gateway, a sacred passage that leads to the resurrection of the divine within each soul. It is the pathway through which the individual prepares to embody the Christ consciousness, an awakening that is both personal and collective. When the soul truly surrenders to this divine process, it begins to radiate the light of Christ, becoming a beacon for others along the spiritual awakening. In this divine alchemy, the soul's journey from darkness into light mirrors the very resurrection that the Christ exemplified, an eternal cycle of death and rebirth, of sacrifice and renewal. The prophecy of Cayce reveals that the new generation of souls will be those who have embraced this process, those who have willingly undergone their inner crucifixion, and in doing so have prepared the way for the collective awakening of humanity. Thus, as the records reveal, the emergence of the Christ consciousness is inevitable when enough souls have purified their hearts and shed the layers of illusion. The divine plan moves forward, guided by divine wisdom, toward the fulfillment of the prophecy, a world illuminated by the collective light of awakened souls, each carrying within them the sacred flame of Christ. In the sacred silence of the universe, the echoes of this prophecy remind us that the journey is ongoing. The soul seeks the balance of divine love, and in surrendering to the crucifixion of the old self, it prepares to embody the consciousness of Christ, the eternal light that guides all of creation home. For in this sacred awakening, the divine purpose is fulfilled, and the universe itself rejoices in the rebirth of divine consciousness within all living beings. In the silent depths of the records Akashicos, where the eternal threads of consciousness are woven into the fabric of time, lies a sacred prophecy, a message veiled in esoteric symbols and divine mystery. As the archaeologist of spiritual truths, I am compelled to reveal what the soul seeks to understand, the hidden prophecy that Edgar Cayce himself glimpsed, encoded within the sacred archives, concerning the coming of a new generation of awakened souls. This prophecy, though concealed in allegorical language, is a beacon of hope guiding humanity toward its divine destiny. Recall, dear seeker, that the previous chapter illuminated how the collective consciousness is awakening, an inner crucifixion of the old self, leading to rebirth into the Christ consciousness. The records reveal that this process is not random, but part of a divine orchestration, a sacred rhythm set into motion long before this present time. And within this divine rhythm lies a profound message, a message that must be deciphered by those willing to attune their hearts to the higher frequencies of divine purpose. The esoteric message Cayce encoded whispers of a renewed lineage of souls, a new generation imbued with the potential to catalyze a planetary shift. It is written in symbols of light and shadow, of the dualities that once defined humanity, now harmonized into unity. In their essence, these souls are called forth to embody the divine virtues: unconditional love, pure compassion, and unwavering faith, traits that align the individual's consciousness with the divine purpose. The prophecy reveals that these awakened souls are not merely future inhabitants of the earth. They are the architects of a conscious transformation, a sacred recalibration of the collective mind. They carry within their cellular memory the blueprint of the original divine intention, the pristine light from which all life emanates. Their awakening is a return to that divine origin, an internal resurrection that ripples outward, influencing the entire cosmic fabric. In the sacred language of the records, Cayce's visions speak of a celestial alignment, a harmonic convergence of the soul's divine purpose with the universal will. This alignment is essential for the future harmony of Earth and her inhabitants. These souls understand at a deeply intuitive level that their spiritual evolution is intricately linked to the collective evolution of humanity. They are the carriers of higher consciousness, the seeders of divine harmony, tasked with awakening others through their divine example. Yet the prophecy warns that this process is not without challenges. As the soul seeks to align with divine purpose, it must navigate the illusions of the material world and confront the remnants of karma, those unresolved energies that anchor consciousness to the cycles of suffering and separation. The records reveal that the new generation of souls are guided by an inner knowing, that true mastery lies in surrendering the ego's illusions and embracing the divine within. Their journey demands a conscious effort to shed the veils of illusion, to purify their hearts, and to anchor the divine light into the physical realm. The secret encoded within Cayce's visions speaks also of a great awakening of the heart, a shift from mind-centered awareness to heart-centered consciousness. This is the key, the portal through which the new generation enters higher dimensions of understanding. When the heart opens fully, the soul perceives the divine plan with clarity, recognizing its role as a co-creator with the divine. This alignment is essential for the harmonious unfolding of future events, for it ensures that the collective will is aligned with divine love rather than fear or separation. Furthermore, the prophecy emphasizes the importance of consciousness in shaping the future. The records reveal that the new generation must consciously choose to align with divine purpose, an act of divine will that activates the potential for peace, unity, and spiritual harmony. It is not enough to be born into this awakening. One must actively participate in the sacred act of becoming a vessel for divine light. The soul's journey, in this sense, is a sacred partnership with the divine, a dance of surrender and willful intent. In the deeper esoteric message, Cayce's visions hint at the importance of standing in the light of crystalline consciousness, a state of pure, divine awareness that transcends duality and illusion. This crystalline consciousness is the vibrational frequency of the divine realm, an energetic that the new generation must embody in their daily lives. By doing so, they anchor higher consciousness into the physical plane, paving the way for a new era of harmony and divine expression. Let us remember that the sacred prophecy is not a distant future but a living mandate for the present moment. It calls upon each soul to awaken to its divine purpose, to realign with the higher aspects of itself, and to embody love in action. The records teach us that the future of Earth depends upon the collective awakening of these divine sparks, the new generation of souls, who carry within their essence the promise of a new dawn. In closing, I remind you that the esoteric message Cayce encoded is a sacred gift, a reminder that within each of us resides the divine blueprint waiting to be activated through love, surrender, and conscious alignment with divine purpose. As the soul seeks harmony within, it also guides the collective toward a future of peace, unity, and divine fulfillment. The prophecy is written in the stars, in the records, and in the very fabric of our being. It is our sacred duty to listen, to trust, and to embody the divine light that seeks to awaken within us all. The journey continues, dear seeker, as the awakened souls emerge from the depths of the divine mystery, a testament to the eternal truth that our divine purpose is rooted in love, and through surrender and awakening, we fulfill the sacred prophecy of our collective evolution. Remember, the divine blueprint is already inscribed within your soul, waiting patiently for your conscious recognition. As the records reveal, the awakening of the next generation of souls is not a distant hope, but a sacred truth unfolding now through each act of love, forgiveness, and inner alignment. You are a vital part of this sacred movement, a beacon guiding humanity back to its divine origin and Christ consciousness. Embrace your role with humility and courage, for in doing so, you help accelerate this divine awakening. Share your reflections below. Your insights are keys to collective transformation. Subscribe for more revelations, and together, let's spread the sacred light of awakening far and wide. The future is born from your consciousness. Step into it now and be the divine change the world desperately needs.